Good evening to all, dear ladies and gentlemen. American President Donald Trump is making a 180-degree turnaround regarding the People's Republic of China. The Chinese president, who is a shrewd strategist, has succeeded in his strategy. Donald Trump has started to understand. Yes, he has started to understand, and he wants to appease President Xi Jinping. While trying to appease President Xi Jinping, he is also increasing customs tariffs. This time, he hasn't gone too far. Yes, because he knows that as soon as he acts, China will respond. He had raised it to 34%. China also raised it to 34%. He raised it to 104%. China raised it to 84%. And this time, he has just increased it a little more. But in addition to the small increase he made, Donald Trump is starting to congratulate China, to give compliments to the Chinese president as a way to appease the Chinese president in order to reach an agreement. It must be said that from now on, Trump expects an agreement between China and the United States of America. And this trade agreement will be such that it will redefine new tariffs that will not be burdensome, neither for China nor for the United States of America. So in either case, China has won the battle. So, what is Donald Trump actually saying? How is he trying to win over the Chinese president? And so, in the context of this video conference, ladies and gentlemen, this is of course what we are going to discuss. But before continuing, I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Give it lots of likes, and don't forget to leave a comment. Hello, Samurai. Alright, so let's dive deep. Let's go. Donald Trump started playing a child's game. But Jinping did not speak at all. Xi Jinping does not speak. He simply acts. He doesn't need to speak. So what's happening? Donald Trump increased tariffs. After China increased its tariffs to 84%, Donald Trump decided to raise them to 125%. From 104 to 125. But that hasn't come into effect yet. In any case, up until the moment I'm conducting the video conference, the process is ongoing. And so, that means China is also preparing to increase. China will surely fall into the 100% range. And so, while Trump is preparing to raise tariffs to 125%, the American stock market is collapsing, while China is really gaining a lot of markets. And that's why Donald Trump, on this day, I believe, April 10th, 2025, Donald Trump calls Xi Jinping smart. He says he is smart. He says that Xi Jinping is smart. And he assures that they will eventually reach a very good agreement. It is Donald Trump who says this. He is sure that America and China will eventually reach a very good agreement. Now, he says this. He says that Xi Jinping is a man who knows exactly what needs to be done. It is Trump himself who acknowledges this. That's why I was telling you this here. I said, listen, why don't other countries practice reciprocity? If he does that to you, instead of running after him and lamenting, apply the same thing. He will feel it. So he says that Xi Jinping is a man who knows exactly what needs to be done. He loves his country. That's Donald Trump speaking like that. He says that Xi Jinping is a man who knows exactly what needs to be done, since Xi Jinping loves his country. That means the others don't love their country and don't know exactly what needs to be done, since he himself knows that the decision affects others. But it's a way to continue showing oneself as the most powerful in the world. He continues. And this statement, I am happy, it's not today, it's since last night, April 9th. He continues. And we will have phone call at some point, and it will be off. So, they will stay in this child's play. Either it's Trump who will call him, or he will call Trump. But Trump himself, already said that we will have a phone call at some point and it will be off. So, from the phone call, they will reach an agreement. And then because the tensions will decrease. So many say that Donald Trump is playing at appeasement, but what is China doing with it? China doesn't care at all. It's Donald Trump who played at escalation. And we found ourselves facing escalation. So it's still up to him to reduce the tension. The best way even to reduce tension is to lower the tariffs on China if he wants to come to an understanding with China. So let's continue. He says, well, no, that was his statement. So what is the problem? Americans risk finding themselves without electronic devices because most of the electronic devices that Americans use come from China. So if it goes up to 125%, Americans, there are many items sold on the American market that are produced in China. And so obviously, this is what is tiring the Americans. Share this video conference with me. Share it. Share it as much as possible. Share it as much as possible. Yes. So, that's it. The Americans are going to suffer. There you go. Electronic devices such as toasters, umbrellas, the price of foodstuffs and household goods to increase them. In the United States of America by 30 to 50%. You know, the Chinese, they make products at a good price, they send them, and then people pay. There you go. Now, if they have to rely exclusively on what is produced in the United States of America, yet America does not produce everything. It's going to be very complicated. So, this is the card that Donald Trump wants to play. What lessons should be learned from this situation? The lesson is very simple. It's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, as I have said here in previous video conferences. You should never let yourself be pushed around by such a president. He makes a decision, make the same one, no matter the consequences, do the same thing. And the African countries that are concerned, I would say, must also do the same. Reciprocal measures. As soon as he strikes, you strike, he strikes, you strike. He will understand that you understand in the same way. He will pick up his phone. He will call you to say, let's try to understand each other. Well, for African countries, it will be a bit difficult, but for a power like China, a giant like China, America cannot do without Chinese products. So, here is the situation Donald Trump is facing. China will not let itself be manipulated. China will look after its interests. Donald Trump will be forced to back down. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the headline of international news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news, by the grace of the Almighty. So that was the voice of your one and only samurai,